The city bus hissed as it stopped in front of my parents' gated community. For a second, I almost laughed. My private helicopter was waiting at the airport, engines warm, pilot on standby. But my mother had been very clear. If you're coming to the family meeting, you arrive like everyone else. So here I was. No driver, no security. Just me, stepping off a city bus. ID, the guard said, barely looking up. I handed it over. Sarah Martinez, CEO, Quantum Tech Solutions. He didn't react. Of course not. To this neighborhood, I wasn't a CEO. I was the family embarrassment. The daughter who never got a real job. My phone vibrated. Emergency board meeting. 2 hours. Fortune 500 acquisition pending. I slipped the phone back into my pocket. The guard waved me through, and I walked up the perfectly manicured path toward the house I grew up in, the one that never felt like home. Luxury cars filled the driveway. My siblings had arrived in style. Look who finally showed up, my sister Rachel called from the porch, smirking. Still can't afford a car, Sarah? I thought about the fleet of vehicles sitting in my private garage. The bus is environmentally friendly, I said calmly. My brother Michael laughed. Yeah, sure. Not because you wasted Dad's money on that little tech experiment. Dad's little $50,000 investment. The one that had quietly turned into billions. But Mom's rules echoed in my head. No business talk. Inside, my mother clapped her hands for attention. Before we start, she announced, everyone congratulate Andrea. She just made junior partner. Applause filled the room. And she's younger than you, Mom added, glancing directly at me. My phone buzzed again. Pentagon contract confirmed. White House briefing scheduled. Rachel leaned closer and whispered, can't even dress properly anymore. She glanced at my plain black turtleneck. If she only knew it was hand-tailored in Europe, worth more than her monthly salary. A low thumping sound rolled through the air. I checked my watch. Right on time. What's that noise? Michael asked, walking toward the window. Probably a hospital helicopter, Mom said dismissively. Now, Sarah, about your career choices. My phone buzzed again. Ma'am, the board is assembling. Department of Defense reps arrived early. At least Andrea has a real office, Mom continued. Where do you even work these days, Sarah? Still that storage unit? I bit back a smile. I pictured my company's 60-story glass headquarters downtown. The one Dad once called that ugly building ruining the skyline. The helicopter's sound grew louder, much louder. Speaking of work, Rachel said, straightening her assistant manager name badge, my bank is hiring tellers. I could put in a word for you. That's when the room darkened. A massive black helicopter hovered outside the window. The Quantum Tech logo gleamed clearly on its side. Michael squinted. That's a big one. Must be some kind of emergency, he said. My phone rang, a tone I reserved for Pentagon calls only. The room went silent. My mother shot me a sharp look. Sarah, she said coldly, please don't tell me that thing is here for you. I slowly stood up and smiled. Still can't silence your phone for family time? Rachel said sharply. You really should take career advice from Andrea. She has her own parking spot at the firm. I glanced at my watch. The board wouldn't wait much longer. Neither would the Joint Chiefs. A calm but urgent voice came through my earpiece. Ma'am, this is security. The Secretary of Defense is asking for you personally. Outside, the helicopter dipped lower. The downdraft rattled the windows, shaking the framed family portraits. That pilot's flying way too close, Dad complained, reaching for the curtains. Actually, I said, standing up, they're exactly where they're supposed to be. Mom frowned. What do you mean? Before I could answer, my phone lit up. 3 urgent messages. 3 different world leaders. The helicopter descended onto the massive lawn. Now the Quantum Tech logo was unmistakable. That's my ride, I said simply, slipping my phone into my pocket. Silence. You're... What? Rachel's coffee cup clattered against the saucer. My helicopter, I said calmly. The board meeting starts in an hour. I straightened my simple black turtleneck, the same one Rachel had mocked, never noticing the designer label worth more than her annual salary. Stop joking, Michael scoffed. That thing is obviously for someone in Per. He stopped mid-sentence. Two suited agents entered the room. Ms. Martinez, the lead agent said, the Secretary of Defense is waiting, and the UK Prime Minister has requested a brief call during transit. My mother went pale. Secretary of what? She whispered. I smiled, accepting the secure tablet the agent handed me. Remember that storage unit startup? I said softly. It's now Quantum Tech Solutions. Michael's expression shifted as realization hit. The one that owns that ugly building downtown, I continued. The quantum computing company. His banking instincts finally kicked in. The company revolutionizing global finance, defense systems, space technology, he muttered. I checked another alert. Worth more than the GDP of several countries, I added casually. Rachel's assistant manager nameplate suddenly looked very small. But you take the bus, Mom stammered. Because you insisted I arrive like everyone else, I replied evenly. My usual transportation is slightly different. The helicopter blades cast slow, rhythmic shadows across the walls. And those calls you keep getting. Dad began, then stopped. He recognized the presidential seal glowing on my secure phone. Are from people who actually understand what I built, I finished. Unlike the ones who thought I was wasting my potential. Rachel found her voice at last. But at Christmas, she said weakly, you told us you were just working on computer problems. I scrolled through classified documents on my tablet. Quantum encryption for NATO is technically a computer problem, I replied. So is securing the world's financial systems. I looked up. And right now, I said calmly, I'm late. Another agent stepped forward. Ma'am, Beijing is on the secure line. Tell them I'll return the call during flight, I said. I watched my mother's expression shift from dismissal to confusion to full realization. That article last week, Michael said slowly, about the technology revolutionizing global defense. That was page 38 of your bank's morning briefing, I replied. Yes, that was me. I checked my watch. The same technology your bank just paid billions to implement. The helicopter's shadow swept across the room again as it adjusted position. But Andrea has a corner office, Mom whispered, her worldview collapsing. I have a corner of the planet, I corrected calmly. Those satellites you saw on the news, the ones changing global communications, they're mine. Dad's hands trembled as he picked up the business magazine on the coffee table. The same one he'd been bragging about Andrea appearing in. My face was on the cover. The quantum breakthrough everyone's talking about, he read quietly. The technology worth more money than our entire family made in 5 generations, I finished. The one you said was a waste of time. Yes. Rachel's phone buzzed. She glanced at the screen, her bank manager, calling about the new quantum security systems being installed. Systems developed by her bus-riding sister's company. Ms. Martinez, another agent interrupted. The Joint Chiefs are assembled. The Joint. Mom's voice failed. Chiefs of Staff, I confirmed, gathering my things. They're far more interested in quantum computing than parking spots or corner offices. The helicopter blades grew louder, punctuating every word. So, I added, glancing at Rachel, about that teller position. Epilogue next day. Payoff the next morning's headline said, everything. Quantum Tech Solutions closes historic $300 billion defense contract. Below it, a photo of me boarding my helicopter from my parents' front lawn. The image spread through their affluent neighborhood overnight. My mother's phone hadn't stopped ringing. Country club friends suddenly remembered they had always believed in their third child. Oh yes, she said weakly. We always knew she was brilliant. I watched the chaos unfold from my office. The entire top floor of that ugly building Dad once complained about. Floor-to-ceiling windows framed the city perfectly, including their gated community. From up here, it looked very small. "Your sister Rachel is in the lobby," my assistant said. She paused. "Again, and Michael has called 4 times," my secretary added. "Something about investment opportunities." I turned from the window as another company helicopter settled onto my private helipad. "Tell them both my family office handles all personal investments," I said. "They can apply through normal channels." My phone buzzed. "Mom, Sunday dinner this week." Before I could reply, alerts flashed across my screens. Quantum encryption breach prevented. Global banking crisis averted. Michael's bank would be calling soon, completely unaware that their savior was his bus-riding sister. "The Prime Minister is holding on line 1, my assistant said, "and NASA needs to move up the satellite launch." "Tell the PM I'll call back," I replied. "NASA gets priority." I smiled, remembering my mother's endless comparisons to cousin Andrea's law firm success. I wondered what Andrea would think, knowing her biggest client's security systems ran on my technology. Another message appeared. "Dad, Princess, about that investment." I didn't hesitate. "Route all family financial inquiries through legal," I told my team, "and schedule the movers." "Moving day already?" my CFO asked, stepping in with fresh contracts. "The penthouse is ready," I confirmed. 40 floors above my parents' neighborhood. Perfect view of their house. Rachel's name flashed on my screen, her 3rd attempt that morning. Her bank was hemorrhaging clients after rejecting our security upgrade. Ironic, considering the teller job she'd offered me last week. "Should we send a car for the family dinner?" my assistant asked. I watched another helicopter approach. "No," I said calmly. "They can take the bus." I paused. "I hear it's environmentally friendly." Behind me, the quantum servers hummed, processing more money in a second than my siblings would see in their lifetimes. "One more thing," I added. "Send Mom a photo of my new parking spot, all 18 helipads." Below, I spotted Rachel's car circling the building again. She'd learned what everyone else already had. The sister they made take the bus now controlled the skies. Success wasn't about proving them wrong anymore. It was about showing them just how right I'd been, one helicopter ride at a time. Epilogue: the next morning's headlines said everything. Quantum Tech Solutions closes historic $300 billion defense contract below it. A photo of me boarding my helicopter from my parents' lawn. Their affluent neighborhood hadn't stopped talking since. I sat in my private conference room. The entire top floor of that ugly building Dad once complained about. Floor-to-ceiling windows framed the city perfectly. Their gated community looked remarkably small. "Your mother is on line 3, my assistant said, "and the country club has called 6 times, I answered. "Why didn't you tell us?" Mom asked, her voice trembling. "I tried for years," I replied evenly. "But you were too busy comparing me to Andrea's law firm job." "Well, speaking of Andrea," Mom said carefully, "she'd love to discuss representing quantum tech." "We already have legal teams," I said, "in 12 countries. Behind me, the servers continued humming, earning more in a minute than Andrea would bill in her lifetime. "But we're family," Mom insisted. "Funny," I replied. "That didn't matter when you made me take the bus." Rachel's message flashed again. Her bank was collapsing, powered by systems she'd refused from the sister she underestimated. Sunday dinner. Mom tried once more. "Your father wants to discuss that investment." I glanced out the window. Another helicopter approached, this one carrying the Secretary of Defense. "I'll send a car," I said. "Oh, wonderful," Mom replied. "We'll pick a nice restaurant." "No," I cut in calmly. "I'll have it take you to the bus stop." I paused. "I hear it's environmentally friendly."